guys, my guy Rules here, and welcome to Spongey Bits, where I take some episode reviews from my big SpongeBob review series, put them all together with a central theme, and then elaborate on them and go more in depth than I have in this whole season.
This one is less of my mind. It's nothing compared to great, funny, although it's mildly that is a question that you broke up with it's such a cliche especially when SpongeBob's character is so flexible and do whatever they want with him anyway. I will say the climax is a lot better than Patrick West, and that there's actually a lot of things around SpongeBob just make another character. This one's another snowball, although like the one in the West, there was I think what ultimately does is that more lower and like a more character I like that. It's a shame though, everything happens in it's one project Gary, this is horrifying. Like, seriously, it seems like everyone decided to it's also kind of weird about it. When usually have no other expression, I suppose I should say something about the face of this one about me. And it's If you think about it, really makes sense.
Episode 31A, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, number 3.
This video was sponsored by
Once again,
So I had to see what you could just the number of my tests. Personally, I think he's really funny. A lot of people talk about the fact that he's hardly a bad guy. Formula works when it's not squidly. As long as it's like Pippin or Mandray, like a legitimate villain and a bad guy. Torturing them is funny. It's classic Looney Tunes stuff. As long as the person is serious and truly deserves it, he's unprotected, they should be really hard on someone else, and this would be least funny. Number 2, whatever happens, there's actually two ways to look at it. There's the obvious, stupid Patrick, and he forgets about the law that he genuinely doesn't actually remember it. Or there's the more interesting theory where he knows that Ray is a bad guy, and he's incredibly strange at the end, rigorous test work, and lastly, he does it both of this episode is about Patrick and Ray while they're trying to rehabilitate. It's pretty much the meat and potatoes of the episode. And like I said, a great source for comment. So I can definitely say this episode is very enjoyable to watch. It works very well. I was going to say this is the most memorable fan of the episode, but it definitely has some really great moments, as well as the non-Merman and Barnacle Boy's big boomerang. Granted, the boomerang was nothing like the one in season 6. Anyway, my challenge, so I now get these potential left. But it is just kind of a little funny background that they have everywhere. So the next episode is fun about the and it's pretty funny to me. Next up, we have 45 minutes.
Barnacle Boy, 4. SpongeBob accidents of free sex with What's that? Man smelled this purple in a substitute. Anyway, my favorite part is Wumbo. Alright, guys, we need to talk about First of all, leg spells out. My leg gag is totally back. Alright, so when SpongeBob squeezes everyone in tiny shrunk, there is a bunch of people. I swear, what I hear is one of those muffled voices screaming, I am telling you guys, it is there, that is what I hear, I am not crazy, it is muffled in the background, my leg gag has returned. So with that out of the way, we're going to talk about months. In fact, episode of this one, see, here's the plot is so stupid. And it makes such SpongeBob brings everyone out to be afraid to find out that other people are maybe not having any clue how to work their spells and unshrink everyone getting pissed off at SpongeBob and so funny and so good. It's all really stupid and frustrating and idiotic, and in fact, this episode was actually skipped and they never thought it would be. You know what, guys? This is a good episode, and it goes beyond Wombology. Not just Wombology makes this episode great, although it's up there, being one of Patrick's greatest crowning moments, up there with Pinky Alley. The whole Wombology, the study of the world line might be so insanely memorable. It might be the most memorable line in the entire series, and one of the funniest moments, but that's not all. SpongeBob accidentally torturing Squidward with all these perfect shapes with Mermaid's belt is also hilarious and amazing animation and just fantastic. There's also Squidward's line about there's also Patrick's brother about Squidward and the pickle. There is a ton of hilarious moments and lines in this episode. The plot is absolutely stupid. It barely features Birdman and Barnacle Boy, but it is fantastic.
Hey, I'm actually pretty proud of that review, so I guess I'll talk about the review itself. First of all, you probably noticed that I misattributed the quote to SpongeBob. Now, obviously, I don't think the one quote belonged to SpongeBob. I explicitly say it's Patrick's quote. See, what happened is, I copied the slides to use them as a template for the next episode. And when I copied the previous episode had a SpongeBob quote, and I forgot to change the SpongeBob part. When I look at a lot of text, as I do on all of these slides and these reviews, it's very easy to overlook something. And once I'm done with the slide-based part and onto the actual video editing part, I don't really pay too much attention to the words on the screen. It's like you look at it too many times and suddenly it all just becomes so meaningless to you that I couldn't spot a mistake if I tried. That's why it's so important for me to get this stuff right the first time. Anyway, as you can see, I fixed it, and in all other official appearances of the slide, it will be corrected. Next, I want to talk about me saying Squidward being tortured was funny. See, a lot of people have the misconception that just because Squidward's tortured in an episode automatically makes it bad. Guys, that's not how it works. It's all about the way it's handled, and personally, I find that sequence to be funny mostly because of how Squidward reacts. His screams are so over the top, and his reactions are so frantic that it works. Plus, SpongeBob's obviously not trying to get everything off him, and aside from that, and I guess him being shrunk, the episode really isn't about torturing Squidward. Not to mention the fact that he was acting like a jerk, not because he was going to tattle on SpongeBob, but in the way that he goes about doing it. And I want to talk about Squidward's joke about wondering if the false that I would kill it. You see, they're in fact a suicide joke, and I'm not just going to detail here, but I will say that is something that I will be mentioning in a certain video that will happen probably a while from. Other really good parts of this episode that I didn't mention are when SpongeBob is breaking through the middle of the wall. The effect is really nice, as well as when he's running in slow motion to try to catch up with Birdman and Barnacle. Just some more funny, interesting moments I forgot to add. And I really like how Squidward and Barnacle Boy are comparing noses in the opening. It is really funny to see those two characters go up against each other, and I wish there was more. Also, this episode brilliantly foreshadows the next Birdman and Barnacle Boy episode by having Barnacle Boy order from the silly meal and be self-conscious about it. That being said, the fact that both this and the next one start off with Birdman and Barnacle Boy ordering a Krusty Krab can make it very easy to confuse the two if you catch the beginning part. This episode might have some problems in the story department, but it is honestly one of the funniest episodes of SpongeBob with such a high joke per minute ratio. If you don't like this episode, you should probably see a string. And you can see what I did there. It's like a pun.
I got his actually confused. He's like, this episode is just making fun of you actually want to see like that perfect part as well. He's always so much to do. It's like this episode, everyone's left and their opinion to
From multiple camera angles. Next we have Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Five! Barnacle Boy turns evil by then with the help of SpongeBob stop. Burger fact, Allied Heroes are apparently a subsidiary of Viacom. Viacom is the parent company of Nickelodeon and it's weird though, they're actually out doing something. I'm seeing it bad jokes aside, my favorite part is the heroes of being themselves like ludicrous ways character. So, is this episode Super Spongey or Super Skelly? It is another amazing episode. It's got a lot of good random gags, and it has one of the funniest actions ever. It's SpongeBob, but it's not similar. It has no fear. Stakes have been higher
It's appropriate.
What's great about the action scene is exactly how ridiculous it is. How every one of the heroes either incapacitates themselves or each other. And the pacing of the scene is great. The fact that multiple things are going on at one time, while one hero is running around in circles, the other one is getting thrown off a cliff. The rapid fire of ridiculous ways that this all goes wrong that makes it so funny. And not only that, but we get the Chief, who's really funny, as well as all of Squidward's weird side comments about good times at Makeout Room. And aside from the solid comedy and action, I can say that this episode probably has one of the sweetest moments in the original run. When Barnacle Boy and Merman Man are reunited, it is so satisfying to see. Also, you gotta love the extra joke at the end where the Krabby Patty's too big for him to eat. This is probably the episode that most people remember Merman Man and Barnacle Boy for. While the first episode was classic for introducing them, the second and third episodes had their charm, and the fourth episode was definitely memorable, although not really for Merman Man and Barnacle Boy. This one is the one that shows that they could really shine and knock it out of the park, especially considering really Merman Man is the main character of the episode, and Barnacle Boy is the main antagonist. It's not really about SpongeBob and Friends so much as it is about Merman Man and Barnacle Boy. Plus, it plays on the classic trope of a good guy gone bad in a very silly way. I'd also like to briefly point out that Merman Man and Barnacle Boy were referenced by the Flying Dutchman in the episode Born Again Crash. It happens at the very last second or two of the episode, so it's fairly easy to miss. In fact, this is the only episode that's not a Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episode from the original 3 seasons where they're even mentioned. If there's one thing I can say about the new seasons that they do better than the original show, it's the fact that they actually do a much better job of blending Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy into the world around them. I'm glad that the characters don't appear in a ton of episodes, but it's nice to see them mentioned and referenced here and there. Speaking of which, in season 4, have we seen the snail as the paddle ball that SpongeBob orders being explicitly a Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy one, also referencing the dirty bubble. It's a very nice little touch that wasn't necessary at all to the episode, but again, makes Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy feel like a bigger part of SpongeBob's world.
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 6, the motion picture. SpongeBob and the game of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. I'm a filmmaker, in case you didn't know. I think I'm the most qualified person to judge whether or not this is a good episode. Let me tell you, in that it is definitely a good mind you, there are so many I've said this a million times, my favorite one is version of it. It doesn't make sense because Merman Man and Barnacle Boy ride around there and have visible that they threw in, but you know what they put. It's not funny that Pearl is the car, or either grab that line. Merman Man would go over the pants. I don't know what story. Plus, all of the explosives giving every single microphone attributes the cameraman like an artist. Strange that they were although they don't go of cutting out stuff to make slightly make identity and kind of start editing how artists do this and how everyone coming together and make a movie right. Really, there's only 2 things I don't like about this episode. The first half of this one, Patrick literally didn't have the last half of the camera the entire time. That joke doesn't make much sense. And some of these minor nitpicks, I kind of wish there was some sort of meta show of SpongeBob. Stupid pirate hijinks out right after. And you might add, not a single celebrity actually, but those complaints are minor. Right? And this is the second half of the show.
I think I just about covered everything I needed to the first time. It's definitely a standout episode for season 4, and I'm glad they made it a Mermaid Man Barnacle Boy episode, as opposed to just a general SpongeBob and Friends making some sort of movie. It definitely adds a fun twist on an episode that already is a pretty decent premise. Also, I totally forgot to mention in the review that I really like the way SpongeBob says, but yeah, it's a nice simple plot that leads the way for a lot of really funny jokes. Even though I don't consider it an official Merman Man and Barnacle Boy episode, I guess I should just briefly touch upon this one. Trust me, at some other point I'll have a few choice words for it, but for right now, all I'm gonna say is it's a real shame they wasted the cameos on this episode. In the context of this episode, Merman Man and Barnacle Boy have no reason to be there, and just serve as a reminder, you could be watching a much better episode, though their parts are definitely the best part of this episode.
94B, Mermaid Man vs. SpongeBob. Plankton brainwashes Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy into probably insulting the Krusty Krab.
Before I talk about the episode, I'd like to point out an uncanny similarity between Plankton's mindful shampoo and Dr. Draken's SpongeBob. So this is the true Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episode of the season, and it's pretty fun. It plays on that old comic cliche of having heroes brainwashed to fight other heroes. It was a neat idea to have Plankton cross over with the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episode, something we haven't seen this far. And Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy themselves are really great in this episode. They've got a lot of good lines, and I really like the gross-up close-ups of their faces. It's really horrifying in a funny way. Although I think this is a good episode, it's actually my least favorite of all the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. It's not actually that funny, and the action is pretty much kept it short to work, but there are some good jokes like the Krabby Patties are evil, and I like the whole sequence where Plankton's trying to sell Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy the shampoo. It's also a really buggy episode. There's a line that Mr. Krabs should have, his mouth says wait, but there's no actual dialogue given there. There's also a point where people are rushing out of a hole in the Krusty Krab, and then it cuts to Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy leaving, and when they leave, the people haven't left yet, but it just cuts to them there, and the people just aren't there. It's hard to describe, but there's definitely an animation error, and it comes off as really jarring. There's also a point where Squidward slides down some glass, but his body is
I'm sure they don't want to be there in real life either.
making it look like some sort of Photoshop effect instead of actual animation. I'm not really sure what's up with these, but it does look jarring and does take away from the episode a little bit. I like that they mentioned the Pipsqueak Chatty. It's a nice callback. I think this episode really goes to show that even with its technical errors and not being particularly funny, the fact that it has Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy here holds a lot of value. The characters themselves are just interesting to watch, and I guess they're one of the few things in SpongeBob that hasn't been overly saturated. This episode was dangerously close to being a mess, but Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, as well as Plankton, definitely pulled it up a little bit. And that is every Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episode in seasons 1 through 5. These are some really great characters, and they make for really great episodes. The entire premise is a little bit confusing because they're apparently on TV, but also they're real life firefighters. So is the TV show just filming their exploits? Is the creation of their exploits? Is it actually technically a reality show? See, these are the things that I would think about and care about if the episodes weren't so good. I was going to close out this review by ranking Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 1 through 6 versus SpongeBob in order from most enjoyable to least enjoyable. That is really hard to do because, well, the magic of the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episodes is that each and every one of them does something a little different. One of them is a parody of making movies. One of them is about the technology, not the characters. One of them is about the villain and not the characters. One of them is a Plankton episode. And I think the variety, combined with the fact that the characters aren't overused, is what really makes the episode special. As well as the fact that the characters are likable and different from anyone else in Bikini Bottom, both visually and in the fact that they're superheroes. Not to mention they're very well designed character-wise, and they have great... I really had a blast rewatching these episodes. It's actually kind of fun to watch one after the other, back to back, all in one sitting. I've never done that before, but I think it makes for a really fun viewing experience altogether. I really hope the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episodes that I haven't yet seen are just as good as these. Alright, so, this video was brought to you by patron Mario Fanboy15. He requested that this video be made, and he has donated a generous amount, so please thank him for this video existing. I really wanted to make it, but I have so many other ideas that who knows if I would have ever gotten around to it. But I'm especially glad he suggested it, seeing as how skimpy I was on some of the earlier Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy reviews. And I would also like to dedicate this review to the late Ernest Borgnine who voiced Mermaid Man. I'm going to be honest, I've never seen anything else that he was in, but I think he really shines in these Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episodes, and it really wouldn't feel the same without him. As much as I love to see more stories featuring the character, I really hope Nickelodeon doesn't recast him and instead quietly retires his character and possibly Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episodes in general. Although I think Barnacle Boy could pull off an episode on his own, it might be too weird and awkward if Mermaid Man wasn't there by his side. I don't really know much about the man, but I do know that if he was a part of SpongeBob, then he was a part of defining my taste in comedy as a child, and that played a major part in who I am today. So I sincerely thank him, and I hope wherever he is right now, he's in a place free of evil. Pie Guy Rules, out.